How's it going, guys? This is Ian from Again Faster. If you remember me from last year, I did a road trip across the country and I interviewed a bunch of games athletes. I'm doing the same thing this year. This year I'm starting in LA and I've got a lot less time and my car is in a lot worse shape, so hopefully I'm able to make the entire trip. We'll see what happens. But yeah, look for me in the next couple weeks. I'm going to be giving you guys a bunch of interviews with athletes and hopefully I see everybody in LA.
What are your biggest weaknesses though? But like, so where do you think your biggest weaknesses, other than like just because we're here, you know, I'm teach running, all that, but I mean I look at all movement, so it's where do you think those weaknesses are?
Pressing overhead is really bad for me.
Yeah.
Handstand push-ups.
Yeah.
It's a real big weakness for me. Rowing, more endurance. Rowing. I just despise it.
I like how your brother just jumps in.
Were you in like the 08 or the 09 game?
I was in the 08 and I was, you know, not good at all, not even close to being good. But that year really sparked my interest to want to be good at CrossFit. I saw, you know, Spieler tearing it up and Matt Chan killing things and Kalipa and Everett and all these guys, and I was like, man, I think I can do that. You know, I think I can do that. And then so I pushed for the next year and I made it in 09. So that was cool. So I've been doing, you know, this for a few years.
I've been doing CrossFit about 2 years, and before that, I was just doing the kind of Globo gym workout. I had a athletic background in high school. I did track and field and baseball, and the one thing that did benefit me going into CrossFit was I had quite a bit of experience Olympic lifting. I've been doing a lot of deadlifts, power cleans, snatches, and a lot of squatting. That was one thing that I felt like I had an advantage coming into CrossFit, where a lot of people before they started CrossFit didn't do a lot of squats. And I felt like that really has helped me a lot. When I was in college, I trained with the track team there. I never ran, but I had friends that were on the team. We worked out together. They taught me the Olympic lifts. They had me squatting, front squat, back squat. So a lot of that paid off coming into CrossFit.
And what'd you do before you got into CrossFit?
I mean, I played sports growing up. Played soccer and baseball and that kind of thing. Played some in high school. Played in college a little bit. Junior college, played some baseball. And then I just got lazy and out of shape and was sitting behind a desk. And I was about 235, 30% body fat-ish area. And my brother made me do it, and it was hard. It was horrible. My first Fran was like 17 minutes, and that's not. You know, that's a good indicator of how bad I was at everything. It wasn't like I was good at other stuff. I was strong. It was nothing. That was just how bad I was across the board. It just happened to be Fran that I remember, you know. So it's just been uphill battle from day one for me.
Why do people need to be coached? Because it seems like a lot of people just kind of go out there and...
Well, it's kind of funny because what you end up finding is that if you talk to a lot of the athletes, a lot of them like to train by themselves too, which is kind of contradictory to why CrossFit works so well. CrossFit's usually a group-based workouts, and you push harder when you have other people around you. And all these guys, especially John in general, they didn't need a coach to be in the beginning to be what we call our badasses, but they do need a coach to show them and to tell them what they're not doing right, or if they're like. Big example is we saw a lot of people get knocked out in the regionals because they didn't have the kettlebell pointed straight up to the top, or their toes to bar, they're not bringing the feet behind their back. And when you work out by yourself, and especially without the coaches, and then they're gonna find a lot of faults in that, and they're gonna actually do worse in the regionals. And without naming the names, there's people just in our region alone that are great athletes, and they don't have a coach or a gym that they normally go to, and they never got called out on that, and they got a lot of reps taken away, which is unfortunate. So I think that's the biggest part, you know. And then now with CrossFit being a money game, you know, $250,000, it's a professional sport, and you're going to start needing seasons, and you're going to need people coaching you throughout the season, and it's going to be more and more important to do that. So
why am I broken here? Because I'm probably tight somewhere in here, something's going on, and my hips turned over more, so I'm in this completely quad dominant or more anterior dominant state, right? Versus if I make that, so if I'm pulling from here, and we all do it when we break down, right? But if I make the decision to be driving from here, and I'm coming forward like this, versus loading, okay? I'm maintaining the integrity of that, and I get my legs for, and I'm I'm tucked under now, I'm losing, right? And I'm broken, and I'm going into the tunnel, but I'm pulling, right? Which is very indicative of I'm broken, I'm going into the tunnel, and I pull off the 220, right? And it's not that you were horribly bad on either one of these, you weren't, but there's definite
A lot of breakdown.
breakdown here, and there's definite breakdown here where, dude, nobody's made the rule yet. If I'm short torsoed and I'm long legged, it's a lot easier to get that up to here.
Has your training evolved and changed and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot more extra work now. Working on weaknesses kind of specifically. I'm not a little guy, but I'm not necessarily a big guy, so I need to be strong. But and I wasn't strong, so I had to work on that a lot. I had to work a lot on my deadlift. It just wasn't what it should be. In '09, I only pulled 435. Everybody's pulling 500. You know, it's just not good enough. So that was something I focused on. We've always kind of done main sight. For the most part, you know, mixing some stuff in, but it's turned into more, you know, just hitting some west side stuff, you know, the speed days and the max effort days, and working on, you know, the weaknesses, strengthening certain, you know, muscle groups, doing sled pulls, you know, that kind of stuff. But still, I've always only hit 1 watt a day, and then either like some kind of strength, you know, either lift or speed or something like that.
I'm a deputy sheriff for LA County.
And so, my next question, you know, what's your training schedule like?
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's just kind of whenever I can fit it in. I usually do at least a Metcon, a strength, and usually a run every day. So I'm doing about usually 3 hours of training a day. So it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what's really gotten me to this point, is being able to keep that schedule. You know, even when working out tired, I think that's a great training tool. I think working out tired is something that a lot of people won't do because they feel like it works against them, but I feel in a way, when you're hitting 2 to 3 watts a day at a competition, you have to know what it feels like to work out tired. And I feel like that's actually one thing that's benefited me a lot. But yeah, I mean, as far as training, at work, they'll usually let us work out for a little bit. So I try and get my run in there. We have a 10-story parking structure that I like to do the stairwell. That's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of other people that love to CrossFit there too. So it helps me a lot because I'll have like 5 to 10 people training with me at work. So I can come here, train with CrossFitters. I can go to work and train with CrossFitters. So it's been awesome, and they've been so great and supportive and at work too, knowing that I'm coming in the game and stuff like that.
Like coaching and I guess strategy in terms of actual individual workouts, like when you have the advantage of the regional ones, you can do it ahead of time, and you can kind of figure out people can figure out what reps they want to do.
Yeah.
Did you do that, or did you?
Yeah, you know what? I hated it. I hated every second of it for that month of knowing. It was about a month for us, knowing exactly what I'm going to do. You know, that's not what we do, and I didn't want to do that, but I felt I needed to. I felt I needed to hit the workouts multiple times because everyone else was going to do it, and my goal was to get to the games, and so I had to put my, I don't know, my pride, or I guess whatever, my desire to stay CrossFit and stay pure to that aside so that I could make it to what I'm trying to get to. And so, my brother made up a plan for myself and a couple of other athletes that were competing, and we did the workouts, a few times, different intensity, obviously different times, kind of getting a strategy. And so, that played a big part of it, but I would rather just show up. What's the workout? Let's do it. I think that plays more towards my strengths, not practicing. I don't need to practice the movement. I know how to do a thruster. I know how to do a deadlift. I know how to do this stuff. I don't need to work on it. I work on it You know, I'm constantly working on really being, diverse in the training, because I'm not doing it. It's not what I'm deciding to do. We're mainly following main site, and then my brother throws stuff in there that we haven't been working on.
So why do you feel like you like to do CrossFit? Why do you do CrossFit?
It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I really thought about that. I love to do CrossFit because I think it. First of all, when I first started doing it, I just did one workout and I was like, wow, that's a great workout. And it was actually 2 guys at work that started me doing into CrossFit. And I did the first workout, was completely destroyed after it. It was a 7-minute workout. And I was like, okay, I'll try this again. And it just kept going. And 2 weeks later, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little better after each workout now. And it was one of those things where I just felt like, this is for me. I like this. I feel like I'm getting into better shape. I feel healthier, and it just it took off from there. And then I came here, started training here, and they asked me a month before the sectional last year, hey, are you gonna do the sectional? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And they're like, oh, come on, you have to. So I'm like, all right, sure, I'll give it a shot. And once I did that, I was like, wow, this is great. The competition was awesome. I love competition. I've been a competitor my whole life, and so once I did that first sectional, and then the regional with the team last year, I was like, I gotta train for the games, because I knew I had a lot of strengths, but I also knew I had a lot of weaknesses too. So I worked a lot on those weaknesses in the off season to prepare for this year coming into it. But yeah, just it's just one of those things where you get hooked on it. And I'm hooked.
Why do you do CrossFit?
Oh, wow. It's, I do CrossFit to be healthy for my family. I want to be 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, playing with my son, I got one more on the way. Grandkids. I don't want to be, overweight, stuck in a chair. People help me up. Got bad hips. I got back issues. I don't want to have that. And so I like to using, competing and all that. It's nice and it helps motivate. But I mean it's really not my goal. I just do it because I just happen to be. I'm doing pretty good, so I might as well try. I might as well do it and have fun. But I mean, my ultimate goal is healthy, and being fit for my wife, and just having this better quality of life, like I was saying earlier. That's, and then that's led to now sharing that with my friends and family. I've got all my brothers are doing it, my sister, my mom, cousins. Everyone's doing it, and. We have people from just so many friends doing it, people that we used to go to high school with, and so it's just growing, and it's just so fulfilling to help them reach those kind of goals, along with me, and so it's like this journey together that we have. That's about it.